14th of August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants Antechamber, number 3. Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Last time we started the first trial. Anyway, let's continue.
So sorry, Mr. Sato. Should have told you about the toxin.
Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone.
No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hoped to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Sato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence? That you'd stand by me to the last?
I remember.
And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. You hid important details from me, Sato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Sato, I deserve it. Ow, in fact, throw me to the floor.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. I'm no better, you know. Oh? Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back, there was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you.
I didn't. Actually, I still suspect her.
Sato, I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. As such, I've failed you as a lawyer. Oh no.
I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. The fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray? Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? No. Oh, Sato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting in the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. No, it was you who stole the poison.
Well now, whatever do you mean?
And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. It all happened right before my eyes.
And you were the only people in the hut at the time?
That's right. Just Miss Brett and myself. There's no one else. I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that.
Great mystery indeed.
Still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up.
It will be alright. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day,
I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true.
Spoken like a true Mikitopa. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have all the facts in order.
Yes, expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it.
Oh, I see. Yes, without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin.
Chemical reagent?
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case. Cool.
The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know. English.
Oh. It's German. So your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid. I don't even know what that first letter is. Judicature.
Couldn't you just have written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it.
German is the international language of medicine, my dear. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the vial in Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. Yeah. That's it? What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet.
It's the newspaper article. Exclusive deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. Oh, the Englishwoman's doing! What? It was when the professor and Saseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swaned in and, without any compunction, said to the Professor Mikatoba, "Oh, Professor, surely our guest would love to hear about your work on the substance there."
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Saseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
So then, Saseki-san knew about the poison?
It's him. Yes, it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This Menimemo-san. By the way, did the reporter join you at all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there.
Oh.
A known criminal have been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Saseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office.
Yet, he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took the very candid photograph. And then, presumably, he posted it, anonymously, to the police. Ah!
Yes, that must be what happened. Counsel, we had just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed to the courtroom at once. It's time to steel ourselves once again, then. Defense Attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Yes! Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
August, 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Courtroom number 1. I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Raiten Menimemo. Prosecutor Ouchi, have you summoned the new witness?
Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share.
Oh?
What news? And why does he look so happy about it? During the recess with the collaboration of Professor Mikatopa's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined a knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life.
Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency, too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
I had the reagent delivered to the police headquarters by rickshaw, so it would be there in good time. But judging by the man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
And, counsel, what were the results? This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of the poison anywhere along its blade. What? Are you sure about that?
It was on the handle.
I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake. Her weapon entered. In short, let me check the thing. Nothing on the handle? Damn. Ah, yes, this must be the victim's blood.
Oh dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? Having to fight the urge to run under the hot tap and get it clean.
Always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you?
I figure this is something else, Father.
No secrets.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed. Ah! Now, the prosecution is ready to call the new witness.
Ah, the newspaper reporter who managed to capture the photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Well, very well, officer. Bring in the new witness.
No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body?
How should I voice him?
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Raiten Menimemo of the Shoyo News. I'm what people like to call a journal.
What's a journal, Father? You know?
Simply a contraction of journalist. I'm there where the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops so they're in print the next morning. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news.
Oh, so it was you who took the photograph, was it?
Well, what have we here?
I'm sorry.
Ooh, brace yourselves, people. Menimemo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. The readers will lap this up. We'll set it above the fold at 72.5 5-flag format for the morning edition.
Huh?
Right then, let's start with your name.
Oh, it's Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Next, what made you want to become a lawyer?
I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose.
Ryotaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see.
I just borrowed Kazuma Street for a while. By the way, my name is Taketsushi Aochi. That's Taketsushi Aochi. That so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear in every defense lawyer's heart.
I don't give a shit. No, the readers wouldn't buy that.
What?
Witness. Yes? What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for taking this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click one presented with a scoop like that, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me, sometimes I have to chase them down, but either way, you've gotta be fast. Fast legs to run with and fast hands to write with. It's no good if you don't write it, note it down, I always say. That's what I call my Menimemoism. Menimemoism?
Yes, I remember your face. You met the day when you were interviewing myself and Saseki-san.
Yes, right. That was me, Menimemo again.
But you were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu News offices after our meeting. But the scoop is I didn't. Because the Englishwoman's words had piqued my journalistic instinct.
Miss Brett's words?
A criminal left to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen? It's horse dung. This country's judiciary is brought into the court. The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns.
Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play.
Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out loud. It's all here. Right here goes.
I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast.
A serious criminal going on some junket? People need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story so I could hammer her in the press. Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayal in this photograph. Oh yes, I saw it with my very own journal eyes. From start to finish, through the viewfinder of my trusty camera. Thank you, Menimemo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. It will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the defense surrounding Miss Brett's death. Oh boy. Camera never lies. The beach hut was made shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see through. The Englishwoman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames quickly as a flash. I whipped out my camera, ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot.
Read screens, you say?
Right, you could see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. The hut has walls where just screens made of coarsely woven reeds. Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat. It was the breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing holding up.
Ignoring for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut?
Oh yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish.
You say you took the photograph through a gap in one of the screens?
Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Would I get away with it, or would I be seen? It was the gamble of a lifetime.
A tenacity of purpose that considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose.
Run a risk one day, run a scoop the next. That's Menimemoism in a nutshell. At last, it would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No. Wonderful news, Your Excellency, wonderful.
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied. But this testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Exclusive news, a startling photograph, all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published?
Oh, that's right.
'Cause I did it. Seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
More pathetic excuses.
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency. There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest.
Guess I gotta press everything. Camera never lies. Shoddy old rooms, plenty of gaps.
What made you want to see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place?
Girls changing? Call it a journo instinct. Can you think of a better reason?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was a young woman. Perf.
I see where you're going with this. Brace for yourselves, people. He's painting the journal as a voyeur.
It's hardly slander, sir. You had a camera and you were taking pictures without the woman's knowledge.
Nope, you got it all wrong, little student boy.
Sorry?
Oh, I forgot she's a... To my mind, all that was inside that hut was a scoop. Nothing more, nothing less. Scoops know no gender. Man or woman, it's all news. That's not even Menimemoism, it's basic journalism.
If only the courtroom was as indiscriminate.
Right, so if that's all buttoned up, can we move on? Tell the court then, witness, what sight before your eyes when you looked inside the hut. Sight that vindicated my journal instinct, that's what. When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day. Sitting on a stool, yeah, that's the thing. Stool.
So you actually saw Memba-san entering the hut?
Yup. She was raging like my journal spirit.
The argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly?
You stole it. I didn't steal it. That kind of thing.
Talking about the poison, I suppose.
The student girl walked right up to the Englishwoman and really started laying into her. I mean, if she'd laid her eyes any more, there would have been eggs. Man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted on journalism. But the student's rantings fell on deaf ears, like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time.
You really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest.
Anyway, the point is, the woman in the dock was mightily angry. And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems. Dear me. Which was the climactic moment that I caught on film. Seconds later, the poor English woman was stabbed her in the back.
Do you swear before the court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place?
Ha! The precise moment? I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene played out, from start to finish.
I have here a simple plan of the beach hut. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed.
Ah, perfect. Right you are. It's all in here, my Menimemo memo pad. Perfect. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the Englishwoman was on this stool in the back of the hut here.
Yes, the accused's own testimony confirmed that. She just sat there in the back of the hut smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down.
It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Then, the next moment as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut arguing furiously. The Englishwoman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. Yeah, counter. And in a flash, plunged a knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. What you describe as a grim crime indeed. Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what Menimemoism says.
By the way, Menimemo-san.
See that? So, it's X, whatever that thing is, the same as... So that's a stool. Circle... Looks right.
By the way, Menimemo-san, whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film?
World Star, journals have to be observers. Can't get involved. That's our raison d'etre.
So you didn't converse with Miss Britt at all?
Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside looking in.
And that's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor. I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement should be perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
Father, what are you...
I'll grant the defense's request. Menimemo-san, he will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement. Well, nihilism is the foundation of Menimemoism, but I'll gladly prove that my words are meaningless. Or spoke with the Englishwoman. I was only there as an observer. Actually... RM. Wait a minute. What's his first name?
Objection!
Menimemo-san, until now I had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth.
You're spot on there. The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of Shoyu News on my arm. In a way, that's more Menimemoism.
Sadly, though, it seems journalists who wrote those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth.
Okay, let me see what his name is, because I couldn't pick the... Raiten. Okay, it is RM.
What are you suggesting with those recriminatory words, counsel? Menimemo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen?
Ugh.
This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died.
What are you?
If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved in there. RM.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, counsel. The initials of the accused, remember me.
Is it a coincidence, I wonder? Your initials are also RM. No! Raiten Menimemo. RM.
That's horse dung. Can't you see? One of the central tenets of Menimemoism is being a pencil user, but you have
ink in your hand. And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see on your right hand, there's a very obvious blue ink stain.
It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is. Horsey horse dung.
Menimemo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Brett in the beach hut? Oh, why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse.
Exactly. Shoyu News will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the night sky. Spare his hand.
The defense has neither the time nor inclination to count every star in the sky. There's no need anyway, because the pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves whoever the owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where the alleged clue lies.
Of course, Your Excellency. The clue on this fountain pen is clearly reveals the owner's identity is right here. Come on. As well as the initials, there is also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you will have, of course, recognize, Menimemo-san.
Goodness me. It's the emblem of Shoyu News.
In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Shoyu News, whose initials are RM. Who could it be? Suddenly, the stars in the night sky doesn't seem so numerous, do they? Well, Menimemo-san, how do you respond?
No! Yeah, spray his hand for the reagent or whatever. Order. Explain yourself, witness. So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactic to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets.
I've used nothing but honest tactics.
Alright then. Fine, I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes, not long before the grim tragedy unfolded. I A showy news reporter, on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman.
Interview? You never mentioned this before. What exactly was this?
As I said, it was before the evil little student girl showed up her face in the hut. I couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. It was just a brief exchange. But it came into nothing, and as we Menimemos say, the people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. However insignificant you deem it be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired. Got it, yes, alright, but on one condition.
Condition?
No, good conscience. I couldn't speak alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Soseki Natsume-san.
Soseki-san?
Oh yes, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own, and brace for yourselves because it's not a harmless one, it's big.
What?
Menimemoism states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story. Very well, I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Soseki-san, hiding something?
The witness's secrets. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness coming running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why Menimemoism demands I reveal it now. What are you doing, Soseki? You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness.
And
when she did, you decided to ask her a question.
That's, true, yes. He did, and that's not all. The woman gave him a very definitive answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
This is preposterous. Why am I only hearing about this now? Why did you mention this before, you yokel hack? It wasn't even a conversation.
Yes, I did pose the withering English rose a question, I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even. Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. The court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The reporter is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut?
Cross-examination. The witness's secrets. Right, let me just go straight to... Yeah. Okay, let's press this one.
What question? What exactly did he say?
Well now, you should hear from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Rider's man?
Ah! Out with it, you yokel hack. What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying Englishwoman?
Well, in truth, I've been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man. But then all of a sudden, from the little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air.
Ray!
I ran up to the beach to see what happened, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw him spread on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan, a moan from the dead Englishwoman.
I nearly jumped out of my skin. But what did you ask her, Saseki-san?
Asked her, who did this to you?
Huh. Yeah.
Don't protract this any longer. How did Arroyo respond?
She did it. She said nothing in response. But...
When in the stand, you will answer the question asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony.
I will.
But she never replied. She didn't write anything? No. Okay, let's just press.
Hold it!
So you tried to find out who the culprit was?
He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool forever. Having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind.
Better be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever. However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond, is that correct?
I know why. I know why the Englishwoman said nothing.
She was ignoring me because my stupid mustache because I'm Japanese. Oh dear. Saseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems.
Having read the report on the time in Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at xenophobia. But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Raiten? Well, yes, alright. She did respond in a manner of speaking, I suppose. She just lifted her trembling finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant. Oh shit!
Saseki-san has been fidgeting constantly in the stand next to Menimemo-san.
Yes, like a naughty child who's waiting for punishment from his parents. This rather reminds me of you when you were younger.
Oh, it's like that?
Never mind that now. Question is, how far can we trust the reporter's account of the events? We must focus on our energies on gathering information and establishing facts.
Yes.
I didn't even know he added that second statement. Let's see. See, she's right there. Should I just present this? No, this. She was pointing. She was behind him, right behind her. Left the finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant. Yeah, let's press it first.
This spread pointed a finger at the defendant? Saseki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut... Okay. The Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us, with the student girl standing on the far side of her. When I asked who did this to you, the Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength to point a trembling finger at the back of the hut. Which can't be denied in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
Oh.
Saseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony?
But, fiddlesticks, I say.
This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Yes, of course, the Englishwoman did point her fingers towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything was a blur. And thinking about it, it feels as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction.
Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all. You mean your memory of the events and the direction of which the victim was pointing are both unclear? Yes, that's it, unclear. I'm very, very, very unclear.
Objection!
Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavers slightly. But there can be no doubt that this attempt was by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because, as the court can see, there was no other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. In the absence of credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial. It's the picture.
No.
Headlines writing itself. Dashing lawyers' hopes dashed. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition. This is a serious blow, Sasato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give us his ruling and the trial will be over.
But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Possible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Ray gave us an account of how the events unfolded in the Defendants Antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed. The Englishwoman was sitting in the back of the hut listening to what I was saying, and then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add.
So, the gallant yokel student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised.
In that case, I'm ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter.
This is a crucial turning point now. I can't establish what really happened. It's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? How did he or she stab the victim?
I don't know.
Objection!
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being, because I'm going to end the episode here.
Alright guys, I think I'll end the episode here, and then next time, we'll continue the trial. Hopefully it's not too long. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.